Welcome to Almost Functional Gaming. We aim to help all followers of Russ and the Allfather to improve on the tabletop. List building, tournament recaps, unit reviews, weekly council of the Fang, and other tips to help us all go from almost functional to fully functional. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, check out our merch store and Almost Functional score tracker on Amazon.
There we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Almost Functional 40K. Tonight, I'm probably going to be running solo. There's a slim chance someone might be able to join me when they get off work later, but for right now, I'm running solo. Aiden's feeling under the Weisler after his long weekend at WCW. So hopefully he'll be back next week to run us through his games with his Raven Guard list that he took. But with that being said, I'm still going to look at some of the WCW stuff and get into some meta Space Wolf stuff about how we're performing, and any questions or stuff chat has, we'll just go down any rabbit holes we find. So nothing really planned out too much because everybody wasn't able to make it tonight. So just kind of just going to be killing time with you guys and just going over all this. With that being said, let's pull up the standings at WCW. So Siegler ended up winning with his AdMech, and then Lennon got third. So two USA guys right there in the top three, local Florida guys who I've known for a long time. So really proud of those guys. But as to the Space Wolves, we had 10 Space Wolf lists go to the event out of the 410. Our best placing was Matthew McCurdy. He went 6-2 and ended up in 43rd place. But overall, the average placing for the Space Wolves was 219th. The Space Wolves record was 35, 44, and 1, so 35.5% win rate, which is really, really not good. This is the top players around. I mean, most of them. So this really, I think, tells you more where Wolves stand in the top end competitive scene, and that's not a really good showing. And if when we get in some of the analysis of stuff later that I want to go through, we'll see the same thing, that Wolves are really, really underperforming right now. And that's even with Hunter having a win lately and like just some people performing decently, but overall Wolves are not performing that well. And I'll bring this up again next week when Aiden's on, but him and I went through the 10 lists and picked the ones we thought would do best. The list I picked ended up going 2-6. The list he picked ended up going 4-4. So he did a little better than me, but neither of us was close. Matthew McCurdy ended up going 6-2 with his list. So let's go ahead and look at his list because he was the top placing Space Wolf. He's from England. So this is the list that did the best for Space Wolf. So Stormlance, Arjak, Bjorn, Phobos Librarian, Combi Lieutenant Logan. One Inceptor Squad, double Infiltrator. I'm assuming one of them is going to have the Phobos Librarian attached to it. Stream is in portrait, not landscape. They did something for the phones, some new setting where it streams, supposed to stream a landscape on computers, but then they have a new format for the phone. So are you on the phone or on a computer, OSD? Because I can try to, I don't know if I can mess with the settings now that we're live, but I can try to, if that's a really bad setting, it's on portrait on the laptop. Let's see. It's supposed to only be doing that on, let's see. I'm not sure if I'm able to change that now that we're live. So I'll have to go back and look at that after this is done. because that's some new setting StreamYard added this week. And they have the option to have them on or off, and I wasn't sure which way to do it because it's showing regular on my screen. And it shows a little sidebar that has the vertical. But, all right, yeah, I don't see how I can change that right now. So we'll just have to bear with me on that for this week. But all right, like I was saying, so he's got probably the Phobos Librarian running with one of the Infiltrator squads, Scout squad, 15 Thunderwolves, 2 6-mans, and a 3-man, 15 Terminators, a 5 and a 10. So this is very similar to the type of list I've been running, other than I haven't been running the Phobos Librarian. But this is a really solid Space Wolf list, and he finished the best out of anybody. And we're not going to go back through all the lists because we did them all last week prepping for WCW, so I'm just going to go through his because he did the best. So even with this list, was still able only to go 6 and 2. So Wolves, I think, are at a little bit of a disadvantage right now at top level. But so I'm going to jump over this other thing. This is something that one of the guys sent in one of my chats this week. So this new website, well, I don't know if it's new, it's new to me. They have all these like quick army reference cards to show how your army is doing in the meta. So we'll go down here and find the Space Wolf one. So if you see, basically 100 is average. So they average out all the wins, everybody. So basically, if you're at a 50% win rate, basically, I think would be at 100. So we're slightly underperforming the average meta. We're at 89.8. Our win rate is slightly below. Our army representation is slightly below. Our XO and X1s is below. Tournament wins below. So we're below the average of the meta on everything. And you can see over here our win percent. October was 45, 47. We hit a 54, 47, 42, and then we're in the 50s in September. So we've been steadily dropping. And when we get into some of this other stuff, we'll see that. Saga the Beast Slayer looks like it's been the most represented, followed by Stormlance and Gladius are pretty much tied. And this is the win percent. So Saga the Beast Slayer is at 43, Gladius at 56, Stormlance at 57, Vanguard at 60. But I believe we looked at that last week on the other site, and somebody took this and went 6 and 4 with it. I'm guessing there was a 10-round event. I don't know if that was some sort of online event that snuck in there or something, because we weren't able to find it. But it showed only one player representing it, and that they were at a 60% win rate. So one person going 6 and 4 without knowing the event or where it was at or what type of meta they're playing into. It's hard to say, but I know a lot of guys are excited about Vanguard. I know some of the guys wanted to get into a Vanguard discussion, but I think we're going to wait till next week with Aiden, and maybe we'll have time to really dive into Vanguard after we do a quick run through of his worlds stuff. So this is warpfriends.wordpress.com. So if you can look that up, it has all the armies on there. So that's pretty quick, neat little analysis. But then we also have the one we normally look at, statcheck.com. And if you look down here at Wolves, we're sitting at 46%, which is not really, really good. And so if we click on it and pop it wider open, champions, oh, so this has still got some old stuff in there. But Saga and Stormlance are right around 50. Hunter only has 2 people have played it. Stormlance 32, Beast Slayer 48. Gladius is down here at 41% win percent with 21 players. So, and this is, what is this? This is the current meta, right? Chapter approved. Yeah, after Codex Drukari. Yep, so this should be the current everything. But I was actually playing around with the site earlier, and I don't normally play around with it that much. But we can really get into some really in-depth stuff if we start looking at it better. So we find the Wolves, we're down here, and we can opponent faction, say player faction. See if we can just do Space Wolves. All right. Let's see if that shows us opponent faction. I want to see all. So it's not. Oh, there we go. Space Wolves or Space Marines. We have a 53%. I found we're good into that. 47 to Death Guard. That's a little better than I was expecting. 48 into Knights. 38 into World Eaters. Yeah, World Eaters can be a tough matchup if you're not built right. 37 to Necrons. Orcs. 50 into Eldari. I've found I have good luck at Eldari, but depending on what you're running, that could be a problem. Tyranids 42. Dark Angels 60. So we're doing well into Dark Angels. Bad into Chaos Marines. Good into Black Templars. So we're good into most Marine type matchups of regular Marines, but apparently not so good into the Chaos versions. Good 52 into Imperial Knights. With his Emperor's Children. 50 into Emperor's Children. 26 against Blood Angels. Oh, wow. So we're getting our butt kicked by Blood Angels right now. I'm just, if you guys have any questions or anything you guys want us to talk about specifically, feel free to chime in and chat, because without Aiden and them here tonight, I'm just, the original game plan kind of fell through. So just go through and look at a bunch of stuff like this for tonight or anything you guys want to get into. Votan, 58%, 42 into Tau, 53 into Thousand Suns, 47 into Admech. That's not bad. 40 into Sisters. I've noticed we struggle with Sisters. 46 into Astra Militarum. 23% into Chaos Demons. That's crazy. 100% into Imperial Agents. 38% into Death Watch. And 46% into Gene Stealer Cult. Yeah, that was the problem I found with Stormlance as well, is damage. I took it to the Teams event, and I found really what happened is I just had to bum rush people real early with all the Thunderwolves and Terminators and just swarm the middle of the board and just score as much primary and secondary as I could before they killed most of my models. I believe Hunter, I think it was Hunter or Forrest, one of them had, when they won their GT, they had said that's the same way they had to play their list, is you just basically have to swarm the board with our durability, try to get up as much as you can, and then die slow enough that they can't catch you, which unfortunately isn't a very enjoyable way to play Wolves, and I don't really enjoy that play style, which is why I've been trying to do some other stuff. I did take that to Teams, and my biggest win, I beat a guard player 100 to 14. I pinned his whole army into his deployment zone turn 1. All his tanks, he couldn't get out. But by like turn 4, I still hadn't really killed any tanks. Like I was nickel and diamond wounds. And then finally on turn 4, a couple of them started popping. But it took me that long to dig through them. I just pinned him in his deployment zone so he couldn't score primary. Hey, there's Matthew McCurdy. Yeah, but you seem to do fairly well with it this weekend. I really liked your list. But so I have a video that came out yesterday and an update coming up later about a list I'm playing with now. I've only got a couple play testing games in with it that I'm finding is really fun to play and has assets to kill stuff. I'm going to take it to the Florida Champions Cup here in December. So we'll see how it does when I really put it through the ringer. But it's definitely more fun to play than that play style. We'll see if I can find a way to be successful with it. But yeah, like Wolves right now are not a fun army to play, which I think is part of our win rate problem. Is we have lists that can do well, but they're not the lists you want to take. So the people that are really teching into that, I doubt many of them enjoy that. Just hold the middle and die slowly. Like this, is not a fun way to play. I mean, depending on how you enjoy the game, it's more fun than losing, maybe. But I miss the days when Wolves just killed stuff. Yeah, I'm hoping Wolf Scouts will give us something interesting to shake things up, and I'm hoping most of us will be able to get our hands on them. Those things went out quick, and now they're selling the boxes for like $250 online. Like the scalpers have been killing these releases. Like I really don't know how GW fixes it, but I wish they would find a way to fix it. And most of the local stores, at least around here, have trouble getting enough pre-orders in and getting enough stock to give it to everybody who wants a pre-order. So that's been a bit of an issue. Luckily, one of my local stores, I'm the main Space Wolf player, so I normally get first dibs on that stuff. But with this being a Tau release also, they said they might only get like 3 boxes, so I'm hoping I can get it. The Wolf Scout data sheet, I'm thinking it's going to be kind of like one of those weird ones where like each guy has like his own weapon and maybe special rule, like an elite type unit. Um, and whether or not the Rune Priest is a part of the unit, or it's going to be a separate data sheet where you can actually take Rune Priest, which would be cool. Or if it's all just going to be one bundle, like a character unit, kind of like the Gaunt's Ghosts. I'm assuming they would have some sort of infiltrate. Whether or not they have uppy downy, I don't know. We'll see what kind of damage they do, because most scouts right now are just like tech pieces to score points and hold up areas of the board. So we'll see what they can do, if they have like some sort of like deep strike, or if they're able to come in off the opponent's board edge like they used to. In the box, let's see. Actually, I can pull up community. Let's go look at the box. I think it was a dog, 5 guys, and a priest. Let's see. Where's Dead Silence? I put out so much to it. Let's see. Scouts and stealth suits, sneak in the kill team. That's like 1, 2. So 4 guys. So 5 if you count the Rune Priest, and 1 dog. Yeah, they could do something with the Hound's more high ability, especially since they have the Rune Priest in there. They could make this some sort of anti-psyker. But you got like the Haywire Mind guy. So basically, you have like a Incursor, a Reaver. These guys are kind of special. I don't know if they're exactly infiltrators or anything like that. So, like, he could have a mine. He could have like, so they might all have little individual special rules, which would be weird with having to figure out who you pull when stuff dies. And then the little dog. But they call him a Fenrisian wolf, so I'm interested to see if here coming up, the Fenrisian wolves on the round bases are going to go away, and hunting wolves and Fenrisian wolves really be the same thing. Just unit size would be the main difference, because they do call him a Fenrisian wolf in the thing, I believe. Yeah, I would hope that you can take the whole squad as it is in 40K. I believe that's how most of the kill teams have worked, but they've never had a wolf kill team before, so I haven't bought a kill team before. But I'm hoping that's the way that goes. And I want to see what the Rune Priest does for him. That'd be really, really interesting. But I'm excited for it. Hopefully, I get my pre-order in on time, and we get some 40K rolls for him, because we need slight little buff. I don't think we're far away. A new detachment gives us a little bit of what Champions of Rust had, maybe, and something cool from these guys. And I think we could be right where we need it, because with us showing like a 46% win rate, hopefully we're right there on the line for getting some buffs, maybe, which I would not be opposed to. All right, so I'm gonna keep playing around with this thing here. So win rate, peer versus peer. Yeah, so wolves are right here, let's see. This is balanced here, overtuned, experienced pilot required, struggling, mid-table menace. All right, so we're just below balanced, a little closer to mid-table menace, not quite down and struggling. So we're doing better than Custodes, a couple of these other things. I don't think we're better than Knights. Maybe Knights are struggling now, but that just seems weird to me that they would have us, that we're ranked above Knights. But maybe just because Knights, they're really, really good in what they're good into, and they're bad in what they're bad into, and Wolves can be a little more versatile, maybe. I don't know. And then let's see, how does some of the faction win rate trends? Oh, there we go. I turned everybody else off on this one already. So Wolves, we hit a peak here in July. When did our book come out? I think that's around when our book came out. So that's probably pre-Iron Priest nerf when we got up here. And then they hit the Iron Priest, then they hit the Thunderwolves. Ever since they hit the Thunderwolves, I think we've been struggling. Yeah, and it's possible, yeah, there's more Knight players, but also Knights were running the meta for a while, so everybody was teching to beat Knights. So maybe that finally, when they got a little bit of nerf in their book, everybody was already tuned to beat them. I think that also was part of the problem. Would see any buffs in the next Deadly? What would I hope to see? All right, well, what I hope to see and what I expect to see would be two different things. What I would hope to see would be some lightening up of the restrictions on our characters being able to join certain units and stuff, and Marine characters joining our units. That's what I'd want, but I don't think it's going to happen. And a new good detachment that has good strats, good enhancements, and good art detachment rule. Not great. They don't have to be great, but if you give us good in all three, they can be fine. Like, none of our detachments have all three. Most of our detachments have one of the three. Like Beast Slayer has a good army rule, but strats and enhancements okay. Um, Bold has some really good stratagems, but they're really, really restrictive on who can use them. And then Hunter has some cool stuff, but nothing like over everything. So I think there's a better detachment and some restrictions, but we'll probably only get some point adjustments. Yeah, a Stormlance type strat with some damage buffing, like the Lance strat in Stormlance is locked to mounted. So only the Thunderwolves benefit from that, which really hurts the head takers and Wolfguard Terminators. But yeah, if we had some sort of attachment that gave us some kind of doctrine type thing, like Gladius, kind of like I think Deathwatch has a thing like that too, or yeah, something like Stormlance where we have more advanced and charge type stuff, but with the ability to buff the damage of our infantry. I think that would really, really help. But yeah, because I think we're not far away. Some couple slight tweaks. I think we'd be right there. Because I have been really enjoying my wolves. So it's like I don't think we're like complete crap. We just need one more unit sometimes, or just a little extra damage capability. Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, if completing the saga for bold allows any unit to utilize the strats. I don't think they do that. I've never seen anything like that, so I don't know if they do that mechanic, but I'm not opposed to it. Um, but yeah, because the bold rule is just okay, the one reroll. But yeah, if you could pop the strats on other units, because none of the strats can work on Thunderwolves because they're all character locked for the most part, except for I believe the 6-inch charge might not be character locked. But I think almost everything else is. And then just the fact that we're the only army that doesn't get armor contempt, I find that really, really big with the Terminators. So something like that, like if we got armor contempt back in our detachment, that would be really cool. Here, we'll just turn on everybody here so we can see. Where it's all been locked up. So at Eldari, way up here, Knights. Yeah, we were right here. We were one of the top for this little period when the book first dropped before they nerfed the Iron Priest and then nursed the Thunderwolves. Was this Gene Stealer Cult? Yeah, so Gene Stealer Cult's been way down. So yeah, so Knights up, down. Knights are hard army to balance. Like they're either way up, way down, middle, because with so few models, a little too much or a little not enough, really. Oh, getting some Thunderwolf characters in would be amazing. Or getting Russ back. Like if we got something like that coming up toward Christmas, some sort of Russ reveal, like that would be amazing. I think that might be more toward 11th edition. We'll get something. I don't know if it'll be Russ, but they'll probably do something around the beginning of 11th edition for a lot of stuff. But with us only having so many things in our supplement, I'd like to see a little more in there. What I'd really love, because I like to play teams, is for them to just go ahead and give Space Wolves their own book, Blood Angels their own book, uh, Dark Angels their own book, so they're more unique, kind of like all the Chaos ones, where like they have a Space Wolf Rhino that gets more shot, and kind of like they did with the World Eaters one, just like little, so that when you go to teams, you're not limited to one Space Marine, which I find is really restrictive because you can take all four. If you go to a 5-man team event, you can take all 5 types of Chaos Marines, regular Marines, regular Chaos Marines, World Eaters, Death Guard, Thousand Sons, and Emperor's Children. Build your whole team out of that. But you can only take one type of Space Marine, and that's it. I can see them like limiting it to only one person can take the detachments from the Space Marine book. Anybody that wants to be the second Marine would have to take a supplement specific, or just get us into our own complete codexes where we're all our own unique armies. And then give us a re-release of Thunderwolves and Wolfen with updated Primaris cool-looking models. That would be really cool, I think. The matchup matrix. Yeah, some of the stuff I've never even looked at, so we'll see what this stuff even looks like here. Space Wolves. All right, so I don't know what all these numbers mean. I'm assuming negatives is bad, and so bad there. Average score differential 1. Oh, so this is the score differential in the games. So we've got a losing win rate, but we're plus 0.6 in points. So that means we're winning big when we win, but we lose a lot of tight games, maybe. EdMech, we're at -4. What's the word? Oh, -18.5. Chaos Demons. For some reason, we are really struggling into Chaos Demons. Chaos Knights, no win differential. Our average score is complete tie. Chaos Marines, we're struggling into Death Guard. What's this? Orcs. World Eater. So it seems like Marines or Space Wolves seem to be struggling into combat mirrors against Chaos and negative against Blood Angels. Or against Eldari? Where was the Blood Angels? So we got a 58% win rate into Blood Angels. So we're doing okay into melee matchups with other regular Marines, but we seem to be losing to Chaos and Orcs, so non-Marine melee matchups, which I find I'm doing well into, but I'm building for that with the Gladius build and Bjorn. I find if you wait a turn to go in till you get 4 or 5 CP, this happened the other night when I was testing my new list into the World Eaters. When he charged me, He charged Arjak and Logan's squad. He fought Arjak's squad first. I popped the full fight on Death there, even though Arjak has the 4-up, because I really wanted to make sure everybody fought. And then I interrupted with Logan's squad and pretty much picked up the whole squad that charged Logan, and they didn't kill a single Terminator. So really, if you get up to the 5 CP, 4 or 5 CP-ish range, and they charge you with 2 units, you can hopefully trade evenly with the one that swings on you first, and then decimate the other unit by going first before they swing on you. So really, they don't want to charge you in 2 spots. So I've found that's been working really, really well for me in the melee matchups, the melee mirrors, and then having the Redeemer in the list now really, really scares people from walking any type of melee infantry out in front of the Strength 6 Flamers that can auto-hit on Overwatch. So I think Wolves have the ability to be really good into the melee mirrors, but I think a lot of people have been teching into more shooting. And in Stormlance and stuff like that, where you're fast, but you don't have the damage or the fight on death, then I think we lose. And Beast Slayer and Stormlance is probably about 75% of what we're running. So I think that's what's skewing that score there. I think Gladius, if you have some good hard-hitting melee units, actually is really, really good into the melee mirror. But that's just from my experience so far, from what I've dealt with. But I've also been playing Wolves for a long time, so I like to think that I'm really good at playing in melee mirrors, knowing when to stage, how to set up the pile-ins, when to do the reactive move to run away, when to have a heroic. Like, I just think I'm pretty decent at knowing how to play those matchups, which maybe some people aren't. Oh, geez, I just noticed right here. We got what is this? Oh, Imperial Agents. Jesus, that's horrible. And then down here, Thousand Suns are getting wrecked by Gene Stealer Cult. Jesus, 0% win rate. I've never played around with it. Oh, -64. Oh, that's Imperial Agents again. Yeah, we just 34 Ashmilterium into Agents. Oh, this Agent's going this way. So this is actually kind of interesting now that I've taken the time to actually play around with this thing. Win rates by peer ELO decline. I guess ELO is by your 10th to 19th percentile, 10th percentile. All right. So the 10th percentile, I believe, is the higher, if that's how it works. So Space Wolves, 46, 25, 25, 0, 50, 50, 42. Or unless it's the other way. So I'm not sure, because it looks like we have a really good win rate into, or not, 46 is which our average into the 10th percentile. And that's there, or ours. Sorry, I don't know how to read this stupid thing. Win rate by score. Is I don't see Space Wolves. Player faction all. No, let's just do Space Wolves. So basically, 80% win rate when we score 70 or more points. So, I mean, that's probably pretty standard for most people. Yeah, that looked like it was pretty consistent across the board. So this one I don't think is too telling. Yeah. So I think 65 points for AdMech to get to 80%. 72. Yeah, so that's right over. So between 72 and 65 So we have to hit 70. Some other armies can win mid-60s consistently. All right, so that's all they really got here on this thing. That was kind of cool to look at. Anything else you guys want to get into or talk about? I don't really have any until December 10th, the Champions Cup. I don't have a lot of events coming up, so I'm just be slowly tweaking this one list. But I have teams. Oh, the team event. Oh yeah, I never did a breakdown of that. So I don't know how much anybody knows about what I've been doing here at Almost Functional. Here at my shop, I've got a bunch of tables set up in the back of our warehouse in a little side room. And I've been trying to build a team here of local guys. Some of our guys I used to play with years ago that are getting back into the game. The one kid, Clay, I met him at a GT 6 months ago, and he was just starting to try to play competitive. So he's been coming a lot. He's really hardcore on the team. He's like my protege, I guess you would say. So I took them, and some of the Clay had never really played in the team tournament before. John had never played in a team tournament before. Chris and Kurt used to go with me to ATC years ago, but that was back when you one player team dropped the list, encounter the. So they haven't done a lot of the two drops, and then with the different layouts in the mission. So it was kind of a new experience for them. So I went in hoping we could go around 50% with the team. So round one, we played a team called Final Boss, which ended up getting third overall. And we lost that. I played into Chaos Marines, triple possessed in the Chosen Brick. I set up my I was running the Stormlance list. I sent my 3 6-man Thunderwolf squads out. I charged 2 of the Chosen on the flanks, and I tried to set up a charge on the one Chosen unit in the middle. At a 5-inch charge, rolled a 4, re-rolled it into a 4. So that really sucked because I had dropped the Terminators behind it. The goal was to have all 3 Thunderwolf squads hit the possessed and force them to have to pop their dev wounds to try to get out of the Thunderwolves. So he was able to run around the Thunderwolves with the middle squad and hit the Terminators and pop the dev wounds there. So he did a little more to the Terminators than I was hoping. He brought his Chosen to stuff up. I set up a counter charge with another unit on not that turn, but the turn after to just help my control of the middle, which in Stormlance, as we were talking earlier, you don't kill a lot, so you have to kind of control the middle and keep them off objectives, which that first failed charge neutered right away. So when I went to try to reclaim the objective in the middle, I set up a 5-inch charge, rolled a 4, re-rolled it into a 4. Happened twice that game. And so that game ended up, what I thought I could keep to like a close draw or a minor win, ended up being a major loss, which really skewed the team off. And then we had a couple other people that lost games we thought they were going to win. And that's partially because a couple of guys were still learning their armies after coming back. Then round 2, we Clay, my Eldar guy, ended up losing with 20 Fire Dragons into a Knights list, which I didn't think should happen. Neither did he. He thought he could get a big win there, but the Knights player got to pick layout and picked a favorable layout for the Knights. So he was saying, Clay was telling me he couldn't quite hide as well as he wanted. So Knights were getting angles that they wouldn't on some of the other tables. So that was a mistake letting them get him on that table. And then I played into Tau. And that's the game. I don't know if anyone has heard this story before, but he lined up a Riptide on a full Thunderwolf squad, overcharging to 4 damage, did 6 wounds. I failed all 6 invols. And then he had a second Riptide that was going to shoot them. He was hoping between the two he could pretty much kill the squad. So then they shot at my Terminators, did 5 wounds. I failed all 5 saves. And so I was like, oh, this is not going well. Like, this is into that Tau matchup with 3 4 damage Riptide. It's like a razor thin margin to try to find a tight win. So when that happened, I knew things were not going to go well. So I ended up losing my first 2 games, and the team ended up losing our first 2 games. And so after that, I sat down and thought, all right, I think I'm babying the guys too much, trying to throw myself into bad matchups to protect them. I need to just try to go score points with my list where I can and just pair them how I would if They had been playing all the time. And we ended up winning the next 3 rounds. I won all the rest of my games. Uh, beat a guard guy 100-14. Beat a world leaders list pretty handily. And trying to remember what the other game was. But anyway, so we ended up going really well the rest of the way and ended up coming back and getting 5th place. So I think that was partially just me trying to be too perfect with pairings, to not having faith in my guys, knowing they're coming back. I should have just paired it like how I would have if they were more experienced and just let them find their way. And I think we probably could have ended up 4-1, but that's just hindsight. But we had a great time. The guys definitely were going to start doing more team events. I love teams. But the Stormlance list did fairly well. Put it into 2 matchups that are bad for it early, which I shouldn't have done, but I did. But there is potential if dice don't go bad on top of the being bad matchups where I can keep those to draws, which was what I was trying to do. But like I said, I just don't enjoy that play style of the Stormlance push up, hold of the table. Like even the game I won 100-14, I wasn't having fun. The guard guy I was playing with was miserable. Like I wasn't killing any of his stuff. I was just stopping him from moving, and just I was racking up primary and scored secondary, and he was just like, we're both like, this is bullshit. I was like, I know, but this is how they force Space Wolves to be competitive right now, and it sucked. But overall, 3-2, which was what I was hoping the team would do. I went 3-2. Chris Anderson, who on my team was playing his Death Guard, went 4-1. He got Best Painted and Best Death Guard, so that was really cool. But other than that, that's basically how the team event went. All right. Well, I don't have too much else lined up unless you guys have anything else specific you want me to jump into or talk about. So if not, we might wrap this one up a little early. I know we normally try to go about an hour, but we're at about 42 minutes now. But if there's anything specific you guys want to talk about, I will stick around and get into it. But if not, I won't keep you guys held up too long. Yeah, no problem. I probably might have to start doing that a little more now. I know Aiden, coming up toward the holidays, is going to take a break till sometime in the beginning of the next year. But there aren't a lot of events and stuff going on. I am working on setting up, I don't know if anyone saw it earlier, there's a quick little live where I'm testing cameras, trying to get the sound and everything set up to start doing battle reports. So once Aiden and them drop out, I might skew the Tuesday Council of the Fang to start being more, do battle reports instead, maybe. Or we might just do those Thursdays and then just make the council shorter until the beginning of the year when Aiden comes back. We have more events and stuff going on because toward the end of the year, stuff kind of dies down. And if there's any Grot Miss stuff, I'll do all that stuff again like I did last year. But thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you for watching Almost Functional Gaming. We appreciate the support of all followers of Russ and the Allfather. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, check out our merch store and Almost Functional Score Tracker on Amazon. Everything helps support the growth of this channel, and we appreciate it.